Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 5 of our continuing series on program sponsorship integration and our novella. Here today we have a special guest. Mario, you want to introduce yourself?
Oh, absolutely. I'm the main character of this episode of the novella, right?
Yes.
um, I'm very happy that we are doing this and hopefully I can help all of us as I am also discovering things in moving forward into the new environment that we want to create, right? So
Yeah,
it's a pleasure
right.
to be here.
It's good to have you, and it's good to get your energy. But that's the theme of today, right? This is the last episode of the podcast, and we're taking a look down the road at the future, right? And we really want to hear from you, how you see the challenges ahead, and how integration can help us in that road ahead. But first, let me just say my name is Jason Schwartzman. I work in supporter experience at the International Office, and I am one of the villains who have been through this novella.
Right.
And here is my associate villain.
Hi again, everyone. My name is Ana Rivadeneira. I'm the Quality Sponsorship Manager, and I work with Jason in the Sponsorship Effectiveness team.
Mario, help us. We've had 4 episodes of the novella. Help us step back and see this theme of program sponsorship integration in terms of the bigger, longer-term picture that we're confronting. What challenges do you see?
So, we have been talking about the integration of sponsorship and programs, right, in general.
Mm-hmm.
But I will go a little bit further and say that in general, and I think that this is a heritage of the industrial era. When to put together a car, someone was responsible for the tire and someone else was responsible for the seats. And at the end of the day, you magically have a car, right, that is coming out. And now the point that I'm trying to make is that it seems like us also have divided the big picture that we have and split it into different pieces. And unfortunately, that has taken us to address the challenges that we have or the intervention that we have in a community with different pieces of work. So we have communications with donors. It's a one stream. The intervention with the child and the family, perhaps another one. How we measure impact in the lives of the children could be another stream that we have. And sometimes we do this in separate buckets, right? And as a result of that, sometimes when we are trying to improve things, we probably do it in the same way. We have improved the way we do programs, but also we were keeping that divided picture of the whole thing. So for me, the integration, when we're talking about integration, that's one of the elements that I am thinking of. So how we can integrate today the different pieces of the puzzle in a way that it makes more coherence. It's more coherent and it makes more sense to everybody, right? As opposed to continue dividing. The other element is that we have for a while work with the whole notion and the idea that our actions are face to face. The interactions with children are face to face. And then the pandemic hit, and when that happened, we were taken away from that ability, right? It's like your work was based on what you could see, and out of the sudden we were blind. So how to do that? And let me share for a bit a slide where the question for us is, so where do we start as we intend to continue working and developing the work with children. I'm not sure if you can see my the slide that I have right now. But if you see, and my apologies for using this jargon, but there is this notion that we have like 3 different spaces as we get creative, right? One space is what is called the red ocean, and it's how we can beat competition by lowering costs, by having a better execution. And the other one is blue oceans, which is areas where people are not still working there. There are new solutions that we haven't seen. And then there is the white space, which is we don't know reality, what are the needs in that space and how to go into that. The element right now that I believe is that we need to work on that red space first. And that is how we can, with what we have today, improve, and that's the first part of my conversation, improve our way of doing business, right? So how can we do that? Is an important aspect that we need to start working on. I'm bringing different pieces together to be more effective and more efficient. That will be something that will be wonderful. Then later on, we can jump into that blue space that will increase. We will have a different offer and we will increase the population that we are working with. But right now, my bet is to, my suggestion is we focus on children we are working with right now, with different ways of delivering our impact with them, and assess how this is, if it's as good as what we were doing face-to-face, is this better than when we were doing face-to-face, and so on and so forth, right? So I think that's something that we need to explore.
Thanks, Mario. I think you answered the question, and you have described already some of the solutions, some of the ways to address these challenges. But help us to get more on that vision. Can you tell us more on the vision that you have to address these challenges?
Yeah, you know, the good news that we have is that we are not alone on this journey. And the reason I'm saying this is because of the pandemic, every single industry has been touched, and all industries are trying to build new ways of reaching their end customers. And let me share for a bit another slide. So in general terms, the private sector is finding solutions that are related to low touch with high tech. And this is, and sorry to go back again to the restaurant case, you order something through an app, you don't have any contact whatsoever with any person, but at the end of the transaction, you will have your food on the door of your home, right? But you didn't interact with anybody. When we try to do those things, unfortunately, they don't work for children. That's not, they want solutions that are, if you want to include high tech, is great, but also that have the high touch element. And we have seen these with children when they are experiencing and they are sharing, like this little girl that I'm sharing here from Bolivia, that she was receiving a video. You can consider that high tech if you want. But then she asked the question, why is it that I have a problem, she would say, because if I have a question, I don't know who to talk to, right? I don't know what to do if I need to find an alternative way of someone explaining this to me. So again, we need to find solutions that are, for the reasons that we have right now, high tech, but also high touch. And that is an important challenge in front of us. We need to find ways in which we can share through a platform that is flexible enough to share content in different ways. I've been calling this with my colleagues in the region an ecological system. And the reason I bring it to the ecology is because you have different species, right, living in the same environment. And how, as we do these things, we take advantage of a digital platform through a mobile phone that can nowadays bring together different things. How we integrate all these pieces together in a way that it will make sense for us, not just to push information for children, but also that they can pull content that they want to know.
Thanks for that, Mario. Can you give us an example of how you see that coming to life?
Oh, more than happy to do that, and I'm glad you're asking that question. Let's bring someone to our table, and let's think about this little girl, and let's call her Anna. Hi, Anna. right. And how? And let's assume for a second that Anna is 15 years old, right? And that she receives a mobile device from our end with some preloaded apps and also airtime or web time, right? Yeah, in it. And let's start with one example. And Anna was invited to answer a survey, and we were asking questions on her preference of things, of topics that she would like to know more about. But she was not the only one. She's one among many youth that we are asking that question to. And let's assume for a second that it comes back to us that she want to know more about courtship and boyfriends, and guys and boys, about sexuality and about violence for a second, right? So that is coming to us from this youth, that these are topics of their interest. The next step is, but before that, as a result of Anna's participation, because she filled out the survey, she receives a badge that she can share in her profile picture that says you are a leader and a contributor. That distinguishes her from others, right? And she is showing that with pride in her social interactions. Then she received in advance an invite to preview a radio episode of a new novella that we will have for her, which will be broadcast over radio and will address exactly some of those things, right? She will have at first in a preview to have the opportunity to provide feedback, to say things that she would like to hear more about. But she's not, again, the only one. There are many others who are being asked those questions after they hear the first episode. So she's encouraged to answer those questions. And that way after the first episode, we are learning from her. What is she learning? What are things that she didn't understand? But we can run in an episode when it's broadcast to everybody, similar tests, just to see whether they learned something new, whether that knowledge is being acquired. So this comes later, and that will give us insights into what is being learned, what is not being learned through the process. Days later, Anna will receive a message of the learnings of the month, right? And she will be writing a summary message and saying, yes, this is what I learned. It was very interesting. I love when such and such told such and such, this and that, sharing a little bit of that, different episodes that she heard through that month. But you know what? She's also producing a communication for a sponsor.
Mm.
She's taking a picture of herself. And that will feed what we will provide sponsors with, because she will be encouraged to either share a video, sharing, for instance, tell us in 30 seconds what you think about such and such. And she will record herself and send it over. At the other end of the spectrum of the using this, our program folks will be receiving this feedback loop that will, on the one hand, tell them what needs to be tweaked in these episodes, what needs to be changed, how to improve that, and it will receive new elements of areas that we need to bring back. So that will be, but let's assume again that because she has done so great through the process, we want to reward her further. And then she will receive a cash transfer. And let's assume for a second that it's just $1, $2 what she receives. She will have the chance to go to a local store and cash that transfer. She can save it for later. She can buy something that she wants. We will be constantly rewarding engagement. We will have the opportunity to know where this girl is from. We will be able to collect with her information of other boys and girls around her area. And information will come to us in a way that we can cluster it in different ways. So what are the girls of such and such country in such and such area needing? And it will be different perhaps than in another area. And at the end of the day, we will be able to make decisions that those community radios will be provided with different little nuances and differences in the production of these materials. So that's how I envision the use of this environment and these app devices.
Thanks, Mario, for that, and thanks for sharing with us your dreams, your vision, on how to embrace all these challenges that we have, but also for providing us all these opportunities that we have in this context that we are living. The pandemic is pushing us to think more creatively, more innovative, and we have to take advantage of this moment that is not great, but that is an opportunity that we have to embrace and become a better and continue to be relevant for organizations for children. So thank you very much for sharing with us that vision that you have.
You're quite welcome. Thank you for having me.